There was a time when the energy between you and your person was intense, yet confusing. It was a roller coaster of hot and cold emotions that left you constantly guessing where you stood in their life. One moment, they would be warm and affectionate, making you feel like you were the center of their world, and the next, they would pull away without explanation, leaving you in emotional limbo. This erratic behavior eventually caused a physical separation between you both. What seemed like a deep connection began to crumble under the weight of inconsistency and mixed signals. What you may not have realized at the time was that their behavior was not accidental. Your person was intentionally creating distance, not because they were unsure of their feelings, but because they wanted you to chase them. It was a pattern rooted in ego and control. Your pursuit of them made them feel powerful, needed, and desired. It boosted their self-worth, albeit in a shallow, ego-driven way. They craved the attention and validation you gave so freely, and rather than reciprocating it with genuine affection, they used it to build a false sense of superiority. Meanwhile, you were left to internalize the silence and emotional withdrawal. You began to wonder if you had done something wrong, if perhaps you had hurt them unknowingly. You questioned yourself, blamed yourself, and carried guilt that was never yours to hold. The truth, however, was far from what you imagined. It wasn't your fault. In fact, it had nothing to do with you making any mistakes. You were simply dealing with someone who was emotionally manipulative, someone who recognized the purity of your love and took advantage of your open heart. You loved this person unconditionally. You showed up for them with compassion, patience, and unwavering loyalty. You believed in the connection and kept trying to make it work, even when the signs pointed toward emotional games. Your love was real, and it was deep. But they saw that vulnerability as an opportunity to manipulate. They knew you wouldn't easily walk away. That was their power, or so they thought. But things didn't remain the same forever. Eventually, you reached a point where enough was enough. The emotional exhaustion, the self-doubt, and the constant overthinking pushed you to make a powerful decision. You began to set healthy boundaries. You stopped chasing. You stopped sending long messages trying to fix things. You stopped calling, hoping for a response that never came. You chose yourself, perhaps for the first time in a long time, and that changed everything. Your silence, your absence, your decision to walk away from the emotional chaos, it shocked your person. They didn't expect it. They were so used to you coming back, to you fighting for the connection, that they never considered the possibility that you might one day stop. But you did. And in that moment, they were forced to confront the reality of their actions. They realized that they had only been taking from you, your love, your energy, your time, without giving anything real in return. Now, the old mind games no longer work. The emotional manipulation they once relied on has lost its power. You've grown. You've healed. You've become more aware of your own worth and your own needs. You've learned that love should never feel like a battlefield where one person gives everything while the other just takes. And because of that, you've raised your standards. You've made it clear, if they want to return, it has to be with honest communication and genuine intentions. Half-truths, vague words, or breadcrumbing won't be enough anymore. You have a powerful gift, your intuition. You have an incredible ability to read energy and feel what words often fail to express. You've always known, deep down, when something felt off. Even during the most confusing moments, your inner voice was guiding you, urging you to see the truth beneath the surface. And now, you trust that voice more than ever. You no longer entertain connections that are inconsistent or emotionally draining. You seek authenticity, depth, and mutual respect. This journey hasn't been easy. It's taken strength to walk away from someone you loved so deeply. But in doing so, you've stepped into your power. You've reclaimed your emotional space and redefined what love means to you. You've shown yourself, and the universe, that you are worthy of a connection that uplifts, supports, and nurtures your soul. And as for your person, if they truly want to be in your life, they now know the path forward requires sincerity, maturity, and real emotional accountability. Let me begin by saying something I've been holding in for a while now. I am in complete and utter awe of you. Truly, from the depths of my heart, I admire you more than I've ever admired anyone. You are the only woman who ever dared to stand up to me, to call me out when I was wrong, and to challenge me when I was letting my ego, arrogance, and immaturity guide my actions. That kind of strength, that integrity, it's rare. Most people choose silence or walk away, but you chose to speak your truth, even when it was uncomfortable. And that's exactly why you stand out from everyone I've ever known. You are a woman of principle, and I see now just how blind I was not to recognize and honor that sooner. Lately, I've been quiet. You've probably noticed it. That silence wasn't meant to confuse or hurt you, it's something I needed. I've taken a step back because I've needed the space to reflect, to look inward, and to finally confront the person I was becoming. I've needed time to ask myself some hard questions. Who am I when I'm not trying to win? Who am I when I'm not defending my pride? Who am I when I'm not hiding behind excuses? The truth is, I've been deeply conflicted. And in that conflict, I've been forced to face the reality of how disrespectfully I treated someone who mattered more to me than I ever let on. You see, in the silence, something unexpected happened. My thoughts kept drifting back to you, your voice, your strength, the way your presence brought peace to my chaos. Over and over again, I found myself thinking of the times you showed me patience when I didn't deserve it, the way you held your boundaries even when it would have been easier to let them go. You didn't tolerate disrespect, not even from someone you cared about, and that is what makes you so powerful in my eyes. You're the kind of woman who would rather be alone than allow herself to be treated with anything less than dignity. That kind of self-respect is rare, and it made me realize how much I still have to grow. I know I've said I'm sorry before. Maybe too many times. But I've also learned that apologies without change are just empty words. And I get it now, you don't want another apology. You want to see proof. You want to see a man who has learned, who has evolved, who doesn't just talk about being better but shows up and acts better. I can't promise perfection, but I can promise the deepest commitment to change. Because if I ever want to be worthy of standing beside someone like you, then I have to become a man who aligns his actions with his intentions. That's the version of me you deserve, the one who listens, who respects, who protects, who loves without ego or fear. You are the only person who has ever felt like home to me. And I mean that in the most profound way. With you, I didn't feel like I had to pretend. I didn't have to hide parts of myself or wear masks. There was a warmth in your presence, a sense of peace that I'd been searching for my entire life. And I foolishly took that for granted. Since we've been apart, I've looked for you in others. I've tried to fill that space with other people, other conversations, other distractions, but nothing comes close. All I've found is betrayal, disappointment, and heartbreak. Because no one sees me the way you do. No one challenges me like you do. No one inspires me like you do. I miss you in ways I can't fully explain. Not just the conversations, not just the laughter, but the feeling of being deeply understood. That kind of connection is once in a lifetime, and it's terrifying to think I might have thrown it away because I wasn't mature enough to handle it. But I'm not giving up on myself, and I'm not giving up on the hope that one day, I'll be the man who can meet you where you are, with honesty, with humility, and with unwavering respect. I know I can't ask for anything from you right now. I've forfeited that right. But I do want you to know that I see you more clearly now than I ever have. I see your strength, your kindness, your unwavering values. And I admire you, not just as the woman I love, but as a person I want to learn from, grow beside, and protect if life ever gives me that chance again. Until then, I'll keep working on myself, not just for you, but for me. Because I deserve to be better too. Thank you for being the mirror I didn't know I needed. There is no one like you, my love. And there never will be. Your partner is finally stepping out of the isolating shell they've been hiding in. After a long period of emotional withdrawal, they've come to recognize the significance of the bond you shared. They're ready to stop running, to stop making excuses, and to finally fight for the connection they once took for granted. It's taken them a while to gather the strength to face their emotions, but now they're beginning to understand the depth of what they lost. They've come to see that while they were stuck in their own head, trapped in a cycle of self-pity and avoidance, life moved on for you. They see that you have other options, perhaps even better ones, and the realization that you might no longer be interested in them is hitting hard. What's even more jarring to them is that you've outgrown their victim mentality. The version of themselves that constantly needed saving, constantly needed to be reassured, is no longer someone you're willing to entertain. You're stronger now, wiser, and far more aware of your own worth. And they can feel that shift. It terrifies them to know that you might be done for good, not out of anger, but simply because you've healed and moved on. You're not waiting anymore, and that alone has been a wake-up call. Right now, your partner is caught in a whirlwind of emotions. They're deeply in their feelings, reflecting on everything that went wrong and the part they played in it. More than anything, they are realizing that you were never the problem, you were the blessing. In fact, they now see you as one of the greatest gifts life has ever offered them. If they lose you completely, they know without a doubt it will be the biggest mistake and the most painful loss they'll ever experience. This clarity didn't come to them easily. It came through a lot of inner turmoil, solitude, and regret. For the first time, they're seeing things clearly. They are becoming aware of what's truly right for them and what was merely a temporary distraction. All the justifications and emotional walls they once clung to are starting to fall away. The truth they spent so long denying is now staring them in the face. They love you, they need you, and you are the one they want to build a future with. Since your separation, they've gone through a dark night of the soul. The silence, the space, and the loneliness hit harder than they anticipated. What they thought was freedom turned into a prison of regret. Depression took root, and it was during this low period that they finally began to understand the magnitude of what they had with you. No one else compares. No one else makes them feel as grounded, inspired, and truly seen as you did. When they imagine a bright and stable future, you're the only person they can picture beside them. What haunts them most, however, is the mistake they made, the betrayal. They're deeply remorseful for cheating on you, and though they once blamed it on circumstances or external influences, they now admit it was a choice. A choice influenced by karmic connections that led them away from the truth of their heart. That karmic tie may have offered temporary excitement or distraction, but it came at the cost of something real, you. They now understand that what they lost was irreplaceable, and they carry that guilt with them every day. But guilt isn't the only thing driving them now, it's determination. They've made up their mind. They want you back, and they are willing to do whatever it takes to earn that second chance. This isn't just about saying the right words or making shallow promises. They know it will take effort, consistency, and genuine transformation. They want to show you, not just tell you, that they've changed. that the person who returns to you isn't the same one who walked away. Whether or not you choose to open the door again is entirely up to you. You owe them nothing, and they know that. But still, they hope. They hope that the love you once shared is still alive somewhere beneath the pain and silence. They're ready to show up for you, fully, sincerely, and without the emotional baggage that once weighed them down. It took losing you for them to understand just how much you truly meant. Now all they want is the chance to make things right.